I never imagined that a peaceful Sunday morning would become the moment everything fell apart. We were in the backyard, enjoying the warmth of the sun and sipping our coffee, surrounded by the familiar comfort of home. The air was quiet, filled only with bird song and the soft rustle of leaves. Then my wife looked at me, her face pale, her lips trembling, and said she needed to talk about something serious. I braced myself, heart tightening with the fear of bad news. Illness? An accident? I imagined the worst, at least what I thought was the worst, but nothing could have prepared me for what she said next. Her voice wavered, barely audible, and then she said it, "I'm pregnant." A rush of disbelief washed over me. I wasn't angry, just stunned. We hadn't talked about having more children. We were older now, content with the life we built, the children we had raised. Still, I managed a small, hesitant smile and asked gently, "How are you feeling about it?" That's when everything shattered. She broke down. Her hands trembled as tears spilled down her cheeks. Her shoulders shook with the weight of the truth she was about to reveal. Then, barely louder than a whisper, she said, "The baby isn't yours." The world stopped moving. My breath caught in my throat. I stared at her, numb, my thoughts scattered, trying to make sense of it. An affair? A mistake? Maybe a single lapse in judgment. I could almost convince myself it was a one-time thing, until she spoke the name. Ethan. My mind reeled. Ethan, my daughter Claire's fiancé. The man she was about to marry. The man I had welcomed into our family, had shared meals and holidays with. That name, once so familiar and harmless, now felt poisoned. She confessed it began the night Claire was away at a work conference. Ethan had come by to drop something off, and they ended up drinking too much wine. One thing led to another, but it hadn't ended there. It continued. For months, behind our backs, through family dinners, celebrations, and casual conversations, they carried on a secret, vile betrayal. And all the while, I had been none the wiser, laughing with them, clinking glasses over meals, completely unaware that I was surrounded by deceit. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood up, walked inside, and began packing her things. There was no ceremony to it, no argument, no debate. I pulled open drawers, yanked clothes from hangers, and tossed everything on the driveway. That's what our marriage had become. Discarded trust, broken vows, and shattered illusions. She followed me, sobbing, begging me to stop, insisting she never meant for any of it to happen. Then, as if she hadn't already carved out every last piece of my dignity, she fell to her knees and pleaded, "Please, adopt the baby. I can't do this alone. People will hate me. I need you. We need you." I looked at her, a woman I had once loved so deeply, and realized she was a stranger. I told her, quietly and clearly, that she had stopped being my wife the moment she chose to betray not only me, but our daughter. That child, innocent though it was a living reminder of their cruelty. I couldn't raise it. I wouldn't. I told her to leave and never return. The divorce was swift. My attorney laid out the evidence, her confession, the timeline, the emotional wreckage. The judge ruled in my favor. I kept the house, the savings. She left with nothing but a suitcase and the unborn child of a man who had destroyed 2 women in the same blow. And Claire, my daughter, days after I learned the truth, she showed up at the house, radiant and excited, her wedding dress in a garment bag slung over her arm. She was ready for her final fitting. I didn't have the words to tell her. Instead, I handed her the letter, my wife's hollow apology, written to me but fated to break Claire instead. She read it. Her knees gave out beneath her. Her screams were like something from a nightmare, raw and endless. The wedding was called off, of course, but she lost far more than her future husband. She lost her mother, her innocence, her ability to trust, to believe in love. She moved in with me after that. For weeks, she barely spoke. She hardly ate. I tried to be her steady ground, keeping the house warm, cooking her favorite meals, pretending I had the strength to carry us both. I went to work each day, not because I wanted to, but because I had to keep something moving forward, to prove to Claire that life could still go on, that we could survive this. that we weren't destroyed. Eventually, we did begin to heal. But the scars, the ones no one sees, still remain. At her therapist's urging, Claire eventually moved out, hoping that distance and solitude might help her begin the slow process of rebuilding. She needed space, somewhere to breathe without the weight of memories pressing down on her. But the wounds ran deep, carved into places too tender for time alone to heal. Even now, she goes to therapy 2 or 3 times a week, confronting the aftershocks of betrayal one painful step at a time. She suffers from panic attacks in crowded places, shopping centers, busy streets, anywhere that feels too close, too loud, too unpredictable. Something as simple as a romantic movie can reduce her to tears, triggering a cascade of grief that she can't always explain. She used to dream of love, of building a life with someone she trusted. Now, even the idea of love feels like a cruel illusion. My ex-wife still tries to make contact. Every few months, she sends messages, photos of the child she now raises alone. She writes that he deserves to know his grandfather, that he's innocent, that family should forgive. But I don't reply. I've blocked her from every channel. Some people think I was too harsh, that I should have taken a breath, tried to be more compassionate, found a way to forgive. But I ask them, how do you forgive someone who didn't just dismantle your life, but shattered your child's? That wasn't simply betrayal. It was a slow-acting poison, one that seeped into the very fabric of our family, unraveling everything we'd built. And when I saw it for what it was, I cut it out completely, not out of rage, but out of survival. I've moved on, not with bitterness, but with purpose. I still believe in family. I still cherish connection. But now, I build my peace on foundations of truth and self-respect. I live quietly, surrounded by those who choose loyalty over impulse, sincerity over charm. If there's any truth I've taken from this, it's this: love isn't what blinds us. Denial is. We convince ourselves that people we love couldn't hurt us. But when someone reveals who they are, truly, painfully, believe them. Don't second guess. Don't hope they'll change. Walk away with your dignity intact and never look back.